What's up, ballers? Jacob here with All Drive No Drop, and we're talking about my best paddles of 2024 summer edition. We are kind of getting done with peak paddle launch season, so I figured now is a great time to update my best paddles that I prefer right now and get you those thoughts, because a lot of people have been asking. And if you stick around to the end, I'll give you my top pick of what I'm going to play with in my next tournament. And then we're going to do a giveaway on that. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to get the party started and you want to stick around to see more videos. But we'll talk about that at the end. I'm going to break down this list by shape. And then for each shape, I'm giving 3 options that I like for different play styles. So if you have a more control style, a more all-court style, or you like to be a little bit more aggressive, I think that works best, because maybe my top 5 wouldn't be your shape or your preferred play style. And so I want to give you 3 different options of each shape that I think are the best. And then, at the end, I'll tell you what I am ultimately choosing right now, and we'll see if that's the right choice. So I did a poll to see which shape everyone preferred amongst my subscribers, and 51% picked hybrid, 29% picked elongated, and 20% picked Widebody/standard. So we're going to start off with hybrid, we're going to go to elongated, and then we're going Widebody standard. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start out with my best hybrids. And the thing about hybrids too, just real quick note, I found that usually I don't like adding weight to the hybrids. I feel like the hybrids are set up well enough that usually I don't like adding weight. And we'll just start off with my favorite hybrid of the 3. And this is my pick for just if you want an all-court paddle that's going to perform well all around. It's the Honolulu Sword and Shield J2K. This thing is a beast. I mean, I think one of the highest twist weights on a hybrid that you can get at that 114 swing weight. This thing just performs so well all around. It has the spin, it has the power, it has decent pop, it has the maneuverability. The one thing I know some people are talking about is, the taper is not exactly narrow right here. Can get hard, a little cramped for 2 hands on the backhand. I don't have an issue with it. It's just so stable all around. It performs well in every area, and that's why I love it so much. And that's what makes it a great all-court hybrid paddle. If you are not sure what you want and you're like, you tell me, oh, I don't know, I'm just going to recommend this. If you're looking for a hybrid shape and you just want something that does everything on the court, it's the Honolulu J2K. And it also comes in blue. Just to let you know, I don't add any weight to it. If I were, I have tried it right here, 4 and 8 o'clock, 3 grams on each side. It will help, add a little bit more power. It really doesn't need any more stability. Honestly, you could even go up a little bit, add a little bit more power. That's probably what I would do if I really wanted to change things, because I don't think you really need any more stability. But that's it. We'll move on to what I think is my best control paddle, the Neonic Flow. This thing is just, it's one of those paddles that you're going to pick up, and if you really struggle with your shot placement, I think this paddle is excellent for people that struggle with their shot placement. They struggle with, their resets and placing their drops. This just, for some reason, with the elite spin, the sweet spot on this thing and the shape, it just does the job. Placing it where you want, it's super maneuverable, it has decent pop. It has average power, so it's not going to win any power paddle awards, of course, as a control paddle, but amazing value too at 117. Didn't mention that for the J2K, but 135. Yeah, great pick for a control paddle in the hybrid shape. You will not be disappointed if you were looking for a hybrid paddle and you want the control. For my more aggressive paddle, and that's why I'm saying aggressive and not power, because I know people be in my comments saying, this isn't a power paddle, Jacob. Well, guess what, guys? Well, guess what? This isn't a paddle that lets you play aggressive, but lets you maintain control and stability. This has 3 layers. It has 2 carbon fiber layers on top with a fiberglass layer under those 2, and that really helps with the power and pop when you need to access this. And this thing just performs. I mean, the spin, the power, the pop combo, the sweet spot size, the twist weight, the combination just all works together. So if you're like, I really like the idea of the Honolulu J2K, but I want something that gives me a little bit more offense and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of stability and control, then this is it. Same thing with this one. 3 grams right here can help shore up if you were having issues with any twisting or stability. I didn't have any issues, but I know a lot of people play with it right here, so try that if you are looking to change things up. 3 grams on each side there at 4 and 8 o'clock. Amazing paddle for aggressive players, but I mean, it's not just for aggressive players, but that's my pick for hybrid if you want an aggressive paddle, the Core Shapeshifter. Let's jump into the elongated paddle segment for my best elongated paddles you can get right now. All right, so we're working our way up from control to all court to aggressive this time for the elongated paddles. This is the Hurache-X Control Kevlar. It's a 16 millimeter elongated paddle, awesome long handle, 2 hands, no problem. This thing is super soft, great control, great sweet spot, and it doesn't have that much pop. It's great for some people that don't want that, and pretty good power, so it just feels really good. People that try this paddle, the Hurache-X Kevlar, they really do enjoy it, and they do have a 14 millimeter version that will give you a little bit more pop if you want that softer feeling but with more pop. But this is my top pick for the Control elongated paddle right now in 2024, if that's what you're looking for. Let's just check out my all-core paddle now. Bread and butter Shogun. Titanium weave with carbon fiber, the only paddle on the market right now at the time of this video that has the titanium weave. And I described it as a springiness, so that gives this a little bit of extra pop and a little bit of extra help on your resets, which I really enjoy. Swing weight, 121. It is getting up there if that is an issue for you. I didn't find it a problem. I think that this paddle plays really good in the stock form as the Hurache-X Kevlar does. I don't like adding weight to either of them. I think they play perfect in their stock form. And this thing, you know, no problem with twisting for me. Great control, great placement, great sweet spot size, good spin, and good power. It just does everything really well for an elongated paddle, and that's why it's my pick for the all-court. Let's move on to the power. My elongated paddle that I recommend for aggressive players that want the power, they want the pop, is the Paddletek Bantam TKO-C 12.7. Now, the whole series is really good. You have the TKO-C that comes in 12.7 and 14.3, and then you have the TKO-CX, which has a longer handle, and that comes in 12.7 and 14.3 as well. This 115 swing weight for elongated, excellent, amazing pop and power, and it's not even thermoformed. I mean, whew, I love this thing. More and more I've played with it, I wasn't sure which of the series I wanted. I knew that something in the series was going to be my favorite for the power because I just like the way the ball feels. These do have a slightly smaller sweet spot. I've added 3 grams right here, a little bit below 4 o'clock, 4 and 8 o'clock. So it started a little bit below that bottom corner and went up. I didn't want to add too much swing weight, and I wanted to add a little bit of twist and add a little bit of a softer feeling. I don't have an issue using 2 hands for tuning the backhands on this TKO-C with the you know, the shorter handle than the CX. So I was like, well, you can get more power with the CX, which is really the only other benefit because it has that higher swing weight, less pop. So I went with the C. But the whole series, whether you want to get, you know, the 14.3 of the C or the 14.3 or 12.7 in the CX, is just really, really good. I mean, this is my top recommendation for people that are like, oh, I want something close to a Gen 3 Yola, but I don't want the gearbox. I'm like, this is it. It doesn't get the same exact power and pop, but it will get you as close as you legally can. I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's not the easiest paddle to control with the pop that it has, but it's very consistent when you hit the sweet spot. and it's very stable, very solid for an elongated paddle, especially with this tungsten weight setup. So everything it does, I really enjoy, and it just lets me be aggressive. It lets me play that all drive, no drop style. It lets me speed up, lets me get in those hand fights. It lets me maximize my reach while keeping the swing weight low. And yes, you do sacrifice some control. You do sacrifice some sweet spot. That's why I don't recommend it for everyone. But if you really want to take the time to master something that lets you take your offense to another level, then the Paddletek Bantam TKO-C 12.7 is what I recommend for the elongated aggressiveness. So let's go to the standard and wide bodies now, and I'll give you my 3 picks there, and then we'll wrap up. Wide body and standards have hit new heights this year. There have been a lot of great ones. When I came onto the scene, not a lot of good wide body and standard paddles. This year, there have been a ton, including a little bit at the end of last year into this year. They've just been great. For control, and just like stability, tank, spin, everything you can ask for, you can find in the Volair Mach 2 Forza 16mm for control. If you were looking for one of the most stable, one of the best spin, one of the best placement and maneuverable paddles, this is it. And personally, I've added weight to Fortnite. You can do it, get a little bit more power, and you do need it because this doesn't have a ton of power on its own. It's okay, very soft, not a lot of pop. One of the best feeling paddles on off-center shots that you can find. So if you're looking for something that fits that bill, this is it. I could easily take I could take any of these paddles to a tournament and be confident with them. But this one is like, if you're just having a bad day and you're popping stuff up and you just can't find your control, you pick this thing up, I think you'll find it because it just does control so well. Let's go on to what my best all-court paddle is. My best all-court paddle, and one of the best prices on the market, one of the best deals, values you can find at $117, the Spartus Apollo. And it's kind of been a polarizing paddle. It's super lightweight. It's the lowest swing weight paddle on this list. It's 108. It just performs very well. It's very maneuverable. It has a super high twist weight, 7.49, 7.5 for some. It does a lot of things well. So it has really good pop because it's so lightweight. My backhand flicks so good with this paddle. And it has great control, great sweet spot with that twist weight. And it has really good spin. Some people don't like how lightweight it is. It doesn't have the most power. That's one area where I did add some weight. I've toyed with a few different things. I've added 3 grams here, 480 o'clock classic. I've tried it here just to try to up that power a little bit, improve the sweet spot towards the top. That's the one place it does suffer. You hit towards the top a little bit. It's not the best. And then I've tried 1.5 grams here at the top corners. I've preferred adding it right here, just kind of smack dab in the middle and the side of the paddles. But the problem is you do increase the swing weight to a level where you're like, all right, it's not as super fast as, that's where it beats the competition, is that swing weight. It can be played stock. A lot of people are playing it stock. I would play with it, try here, and then try here, and then if you really want to, try 1.5 grams on each of the top corners. But I would start with 480 o'clock. I love it. Can't beat the price for a 100% Kevlar wide body paddle. My pick for the all court. Now, for the aggressive players, which you can play aggressive with any paddle, of course, but if you want to maximize the aggressiveness, the J3K Pro from Honolulu at 145. Yes, very fun. You can get a lot of pop, especially on your flicks and your counters. This thing, woo! Now, it's not the most powerful paddle. The aggressiveness comes from its pop because, that 112 swing weight. That's why there's 2 reasons. I add this here. It's on the stiffer side for a Kevlar. It's not super stiff, but, I add it here, soften it up a little bit, give it a little bit more power. big sweet spot already, great spin. If you're looking for a paddle that gets you to the net and lets you take over through speed ups and hands battles, and this longer handle to get your two hands on there, J3K Pro, that's it. So let's move on to the conclusion, my final thoughts, and let you know which paddle that I'm bringing to the tournament. Okay, so that wraps up my list of my best paddles of 2024 right now. Ton of good options. All the options on this list I could take to a tournament, and I would have all the confidence in the world that they could perform and get the job done. But at the end of the day, I have to pick something to play with, right? And I know I said I'm gonna pick one, but my top overall paddles, I've got to. Look, I could choose one. I can't. I just can't. Because there's two different ones, and they do different things, and it depends on the conditions and how I'm feeling that day. The first one, which would be no surprise to anyone, because it seems like just everyone's picking it, the Honolulu J2K. Been loving this for a long time. You can see the wear and tear I've put on this thing. I absolutely love it. Whenever I'm in like an environment where the ball is just playing super fast, or I feel like I'm just getting put under pressure a lot and I need to make sure my resets and my blocks and my drops are on point, it's the J2K all day. I just feel really comfortable with it. And if my offense isn't on and I need to up my defense into my all-court game, it's the Honolulu J2K all day. I feel very confident doing anything with it, and that's what I would pick if I didn't know any scenario was going on. If I didn't know which scenario I was getting myself into, who my partner was, what kind of game I needed to play, it's the Honolulu J2K. That's what I'm picking. And obviously at 135, you can't beat that price with the performance you get for the paddle. So that's my top overall pick for just any scenario. Now, the Paddletek Bantam TKO-C. I've been playing a lot with this too. On these hotter days when the ball is getting soft, I found myself, especially when I'm playing, if I'm going to play a tournament, which I don't play a ton of tournaments, but I got a tournament coming up, and I've realized I get tired quick. I just, in the heat, I get tired quick when I'm trying to put the ball away because I'm getting old, I guess. I don't know. And I like pop, so, that's another thing that, I like playing with higher pop paddles, but I do enjoy paddles that don't have as much pop as this as well. But this combination of power and pop, and I like the thunk sound that comes off this paddle's face, is like boom, boom. I don't know. Someone check me if that's an accurate sound effect. But look, this is a lot of fun. It's not for everyone. I would say you want to be mid 4.0 to starting to go to 5.0 player, but anyone can use it. People are using the Gen 3 Yolas at 3.5, so I'm not going to restrict anyone to use it. If you want the access to power and pop with a lower swing weight in an elongated form, there's really not many options, and this is the top for my list. These are the two paddles that I'm picking up in tournaments right now, either the J2K or the Paddletek Bantam TKO-C 12.7. They're both going to be in my bag, because I like to have choices, and these two are what I feel most confident in right now. So those are my top two choices, and that's what's the giveaway. So whoever wins the giveaway can pick either of these, whatever they want. So follow the instructions on the screen if you want to enter that. And then drop down what you're playing with. Did I miss your paddle? Because I'm sure I did. I always miss something, and you let me know in the comments, and I appreciate it. Because without you, I'd be just talking to myself in front of a camera. So I appreciate it. So please let me know what you're playing with, what you're looking forward to, and did you think I nailed this best list? Or do you think it was just like I nailed only like two things? Just let me know. And did you like the format? Always open to criticism on the format. I wanted to change things up for this midsummer, or for this mid-year summer edition, and give it to you by shape and control, all court, and aggressive. I think that way it gives you the best paddle for your game style and the best shape that you like. Anyways, please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to make sure you stay tuned for all future videos. Appreciate it, everyone. Have a great summer. Go win some tournaments, go have fun on the courts, and go play some pickleball.